Hey, it's me, Monty, the director of the Humboldt Wildlife Care Center, and I am coming back to, I want to show you a few things that we've been doing as we get ready for our big move. And I also wanted to, before we even get into that, I just want to thank every person, not individually, but as a group. You guys really responded to the last video that we posted back on, the beginning of the year, pleading for help getting our down payment together to buy the property where we're going to continue doing our work. And you really came through, and we have our down payment secure and the financing has been approved, and we will be moving in very soon. Closing will be soon. We only have, the last hurdle to get over is the permit approval from the county. And we're anticipating that that's going to happen. There's some stuff to do to make it happen, but we're looking forward to getting it done. Let's just put it that way. This, by the way, here, I'll just give you a little, this is, you may remember when I was talking to you last time, we were in this room, but this is going to be our, it's probably temporary until we get the larger building in our possession, and then we can start working to develop the interior space to suit our clinic needs. But for now, this will be our basic exam room, and that's the front door. And it's not here yet because we're still using it at our current facility in Bayside, but that will be where our front counter is and where people will come through that green door when they bring in an animal. And we'll now go back outside and I'll show you some stuff. On this side too. Anyway, we'll go through this gate. Yeah, there's some debris laying around, so I apologize for that. But we'll just step in here for a moment. So this is going to be our temporary laundry room, intensive care room, and animal food prep area. Kitchen, in other words. Oh, look, there's our new fridge. And there's fish. And this is what we'll be using for our, our kitchen area. Oh, let me see if there we go, that's better. And laundry, as you can imagine. This is a temporary tool area. We've been doing a lot of work. Well, I've been doing a lot of work over here trying to get everything together. And this, let's just step back a minute here and see if you can see that. Can you see that? Okay, there we go. And behind this white area, this is going to be where we can call them critical care patients. But basically, it's just anybody that can't be, outdoors yet. When an animal is first admitted, they are often in shock, and maybe they need to be in heat support, or they need to be, just indoors or in a limited activity zone because they have an injury that too much movement could exacerbate the problem. So this is an area where we can have limited activity, or we can have heat support and stuff like that. Like we have things like space heaters to make it all go better. And believe it or not, what I have just shown you, between the blue room we were just in and this room, this is as much, if not more, space for interior purposes than we currently have at our facility now. So even though this is intended to be temporary while we develop the space which we're headed over toward right now, it's actually, in some ways, it's an upgrade from what we're currently using. We are already doing some animal care here at this facility. This is our warm water pool, and that's a 300-gallon pool, and that 300-gallon pool actually has a surf scooter right now in there. So we're not going to go disturb him, I'm not going to show you the surf scooter, but a warm water pool, so we can heat this. That way we can provide a warm water environment for aquatic birds who really need to be on water but aren't quite ready to be on cold water yet. This is going to be our building. I'm looking forward to painting it as soon as possible. Obviously, cosmetics aren't the primary thing that we're looking for, but on the other hand, it does really help both the people that work here and the members of the community who bring animals here to not be disgusted by what they find when they arrive at the facility. So we definitely want to paint this a decent color, and we'll get in there, and there's so much interior space in here that it really leaves open a lot of possibilities for things that we've never had the possibility for before. as you can see, this is mostly a debris pile. We're bringing stuff over all the time to get ready for when we can possess it. This trailer is not ours, and it will be going as soon as it's ours to get rid of. And so as you can see, this is a pretty large concrete pad, and we're going to be able to make a lot of use out of this. Could be, for instance, a nice place to put a seabird pool, or it could be a nice place to, these are seabird pools above ground. And largely they're temporary, so it's not like we're going to be building anything that is permanent here. We're just basically, it'll be permanently used, but it's not putting in things with foundations. They're not buildings per se. So, turning around so you can see behind me, this will be like, a parking area. Eventually, we'd like to have like, an office trailer there to be the primary place that people enter to bring in animals and stuff like that. But that remains to be seen. But for now, let's just take a look. This is the open pasture. Well, it's not a pasture. It's a vacant lot. And along that little rail fence, up to the top of that dune, all the way across over. I don't know if you can see it, if it's going to show up in the video, but there's a red fence over here, over to there, and then all along this whole area is going to be ours to use. This is 4 times the size of what we currently have in Bayside. For could be seabird pools, or that probably the warm water pool that I just showed you may come over here. Far over, that as far from the building as we can get. We'll have to, we'll put in a better privacy fence over here, and that will be where our orphan fawns are raised. Right here on this knoll, that's actually a dune, you'll see that there'll be, well, you don't see it, but I'm going to describe it to you. This will be like where we put our raccoon housing, and with the uneven land, that'll actually benefit them because it'll allow us to create a more challenging environment, because the raccoons that we provide long-term care for are babies, and they need a challenging environment so that they can learn to be great adult raccoons, and this will help them do that. So this area right here in general, right where I'm immediately standing, is going to be pretty much devoted to mammal housing. So we will be able to have, raccoons in one spot, and then in another spot, like maybe just slightly over here, there could be, for opossums, and then there is room also for a pen, housing that could be like, for skunks or coyote or whatever. And that's essentially replacing what we currently have in Bayside, which is we have, a raccoon, a small mammal housing, we call it, and then the opossumary, we call it. And those are, we've been making do with that for the last 13 years. Actually, we've had that. We didn't even have it all for 13 years. We started 13 years ago building it, and we got to where we are now. So we're going to do this a lot faster than 13 years, especially with your help. And then over here will be 2 aviaries will fit here, 2 large aviaries, and one will be for the potential of raptors. Well, there will be raptors. That's not a potential, that's a given. And the other for pelicans, gulls, and cormorants. So it'll be an aviary that has a pool in it. And that will replace everything that we have right now, with the exception of, and this is one of the things that we have a lot more room for, is songbird aviaries. And they can be all through this area, like around right up to that trailer, and that's my car over there, and around over to my car. That can be songbird aviaries. And we currently have 2 that are like, quick math, what's 8 times 16? 128 square feet. We have 2 of them. We'll have so much more room. We've done a great job with what we have, but imagine, it's just, well, I can imagine and get really thrilled when I do, the idea of having 4 or maybe even 5 songbird aviaries rather than just 2. And we'll have the room to do that here. And, we're not going to build it all at once. Well, first of all, we don't have the money to build it all at once. If there's going to be a bottleneck, it will be, the funding of this. And it's going to come little by little. And, somebody was just asking me, I was in the grocery store, the local grocery store. For locals, it's the North Coast Co-op. is what I was in. And somebody asked me, hey, how did people respond to your appeal? And I was like, oh, it was really, really great. We had a great response to it. People definitely pushed us over the mark to make sure we had our down payment secured, and which is fantastic. And I can't tell you how moved that made me feel, the level of support that we got. But in any case, boy, I'm just gonna be asking for money, I feel like, for the rest of my life. I just turned 60, and I spent my 50s building the care center in Bayside, and I guess I'm going to spend my 60s now building the care center here in Manila. So, and then the goal is just to make sure there's one here, because I ain't going to be in my 60s forever, you know what I mean? So make sure there's one here, and that's the plan. That is the plan. So, and it's not going to happen without you. So once again, this is me asking. I figure that all of the housing, outdoor and indoor, that we need to build is probably going to cost us $10,000 for songbird aviaries. The pelican aviary is probably going to cost about $3,000. The raptor aviary also about $3,000. Probably about $2,000 for the raccoon and the small mammal and the opossum. So that's $6,000 more dollars. So we're at $10,000 and $3,000 and $3,000, $16,000, and plus another $6,000. That's $22,000. And then the fawn pen, let's say that's another $3,000 to build that. And so now we're at $29,000. So probably a safe margin would be about $50,000 that we're going to have to. Now, we don't have to raise this all at once, and this is not like, oh my God, it's an emergency. I mean, we are moving into the period that is just like every day at any wildlife rehab center everywhere, which is, it's always an emergency, and we're always going to need your support. I mean, there's just no way of getting around that. But that's what we all signed up for when we became wildlife rehabilitators. Anyway, so that's what's going on here. We're really close. We're close to start adding our housing. We're close to start bringing people over here. Just some volunteers just came over from Bayside and brought a load of stuff from our tool shed over there to bring over here. And I got to tell you that I am really looking forward to, I've been working here by myself for the past month and a half, and I am 2 months almost, 2 months. It has been 2 months for the past 2 months. And I am really looking forward to being reunited at the work site with everybody. And that's going to be soon. And I'm really it's getting pretty exciting. Oh, by the way, over the course of the last 2 months, while this has been going on, we've also treated about 250 patients. So we're still meeting our mission, and the reason we're doing that is because of you. And so really, I mean, when I say, what's to say, from the bottom of my heart, I can't begin to express. I can begin, but I certainly can't finish expressing how much it means to me that our community has supported us so well. And I just want to end on a good visual here. So I'm gonna just stop for a second. It's gonna be fantastic to be here. It's gonna, with everybody here on a daily basis, it's gonna be fantastic when this is our permanent, we own it property. And the fact that we're turning the Wildlife Care Center here in Humboldt into a place that owns its own land and will be here until it decides, until whoever in the future is running this place, after my tenure is done, that it'll be here and it can be sustained and it will be paid for, and it will be a little acre and a quarter in Humboldt County that is devoted to nothing but our wild neighbors. And that they will always have a place here, and that nobody will be able to take that away from them. And that is a super great goal to have, and having people like you who are helping us make it real is, well, we couldn't do it without you. And I appreciate it, and I thank you. And if our wild neighbors could thank you, they would. This is a great place. This is like the third chance for the care center, and we will continue to use it in perpetuity to give our wild neighbors a second chance when they need it. All right. Well, anyway, I should put this dang phone thing down and get back to work doing stuff that's tangible. All right. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it, everybody. Thank you.